This seller lost $1 million. Yes, $1 million. I had a friend who had a ranch-style house in a very nice town in Bergen County. One day, we were at the bar drinking, watching the game, and he said, "You're going to sell my house, Diego." So I said, "Okay, what makes you want to sell your house?" He said he and his girl at the time wanted something nicer. So I said, "Okay, let's talk about it tomorrow when we're not drinking. I'll give you some information, and then you can decide what's better for you." So he said, "Okay." So when tomorrow came, he didn't answer my phone call, text messages, nothing, just totally ghosted me for about 3 months or so. Until I found out through another friend that he actually sold his house to an investor and was already looking to purchase a new one. So he sold his house for about $480,000. He only owed about $20,000 on it. After closing fees and everything was said and done, it was a total net of about $450K. Then the new house was purchased for about $700,000 with about $225,000 in down payment plus closing costs. So that's a total debt of $475,000. Mortgage monthly payment on this property would have been about $3,500 a month back then, and has about $209,000 left in the bank, okay, from this sale. Now, let me show you how he lost out on $1 million. My intention was actually to teach him how to leverage this piece of real estate to set him up for a good financial future, but never got the opportunity to, since he decided to listen to someone else who just did not care about him. What he should have done is what the investor did and then some. So the strategy would have been to refinance the house, right? Do a cash out refinance. They give you 80% of that equity. At the time, house would have been appraised for a good $550,000. 80% of that is $440K. Monthly payment would have been about $3,000 a month. Then you go buy a two-family house with 3.5% down, FHA loan. $650 at the time would have gotten you a nice town, a nice house in a nice neighborhood back in 2021. So down payment plus closing costs would have been about 40 to 45K. Live in one unit, rent the other. Mind you, there are no kids, just girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, and 2 dogs. This monthly mortgage would have been about $4,400. Interest rates back then were about 3.5%. So a 3-bedroom would have rented for about $2,500. The total out-of-pocket monthly payment would have been only $1,900. So far, there are $400,000 left in the bank with a $628,000 debt and only $1,900 out-of-pocket plus the refi on the other house. Keep in mind. Now, you're going to go to a hard money lender. You get a new construction loan. They're going to ask you for a minimum down payment of 20 to 25%. They'll finance the whole new construction. You go and you build a new home. At this time, you could have done it with about $600K. So take 120 down payment plus 12% interest. Total would have been about $177,000 investment. This particular house sold for $1.7 million, minus all closing fees and everything, would have netted about $1,450,000. Now we satisfy the refinance loan of $440K. That leaves us with a total of $1,010,000 net profit. So you're living in a nice 2-family house, having tenant paid down more than half of your mortgage, and we can actually talk about capital gain strategies in another episode. So now, which of these two persons would you prefer to be? Would you prefer to be person A, where you have a nice house and you're paying $3,500 a month, and you only have $200,000 in the bank account? Or would you rather be person B, where you're also living in a nice 2-family house and your out-of-pocket expense for living expenses, for mortgage, is only $1,900 a month, but you're going to have a little bit over $1 million left in your bank account? So you tell me, which of the two options would you have chosen?